I got some video here for you of an incident from my old stomping grounds in Pasadena, California. This is from a local station, KTLA 5. Take a look at this, and we're going to talk about it afterwards. It's about 2 minutes long.
Good morning and welcome to the KTLA 5 Morning News at 11 a.m. I'm Glenn Walker.
And I'm Lou Parker. We begin with breaking news from Old Town Pasadena, where police responded to an armed man along the Colorado shopping strip.
Our reporter Kimberly Chang and photojournalist Andre Cox were preparing for a live shot when they were approached by this man. Kimberly Chang joining us now live with this frightening incident. Kimberly.
Lou, Glenn, hi. I'm still a little shaken, so just bear with me as I try to recount for you what happened. I'm here with my photojournalist, Andre Cox. We happen to be at the Apple Store on Colorado Boulevard in Old Town Pasadena doing a story on President Trump's potential tariffs on Apple products when a man walked up carrying what looked like gun cases. We later found out that he did have multiple guns, including AR-15s, and he was standing right here in front of the Apple Store. I want to quickly just show you right behind me. You can see a line of customers here waiting to get inside the Apple Store. There were employees setting up to open the store. They were supposed to open at 10 a.m., but because they witnessed what happened, many are still trying to get their bearings, collect themselves, and they have a delayed opening now at 11 a.m. Let me show you the video of what we witnessed when this man walked up to the Apple Store. Take a look.
I'm currently opening up the case with my guns. No, I'm opening it up. Could you please send an officer?
So you can hear him there. He says he's on the phone with police. You can hear him identify himself by name. He says his name is Steven Jensen. He said he parked his car in the middle of Colorado Boulevard and that he had gun cases with him. He said he had guns with him. He said he was a mental health patient and he was trying to get help from police. He referred to the mother of his children at one point and said something about not being able to see them. He said he had 6 guns, including AR-15s. Now, at one point, I did see 2 women walking down the street right past him. He asked them if they wanted to see his guns. He opened the cases. That's when I noticed that there were indeed guns inside those cases. And then those ladies started speed walking away from him. I could see the look on their faces. They were frightened.
So, before I go ahead and interject my commentary here, what did you think about that? Unusual incident, but seemed kind of straightforward in a sense. The reason I'm playing this is because I saw this just a few days ago, and I was absolutely shocked about some of the online, the social media comments, that is, social media content and comments about this. And specifically about the Second Amendment. Now, those of you who watch Your Leo Nation, who know me, who listen to me, you know there's not a bigger, stronger supporter of the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is there for a reason. It is the Second Amendment because it's so important. It was so important to our founding fathers to make sure that people had autonomy from the government, could protect themselves, protect their families. So having said that, I'm reading these comments online about Second Amendment right. This guy didn't do anything wrong. He carries firearms. It appears that they weren't loaded. Looks like they weren't even assembled, blah, 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 on and on and on. So what violation is there? Here's my question. How in the hell do cops know what violation may or may not have taken place until they investigate the situation? The fact that the Second Amendment exists doesn't mean that police officers cannot and should not and do not have the duty to actually investigate to find out if someone is in violation of a crime. In other words, let's start here. The officer has reasonable suspicion. They're getting calls. The officers are getting calls from all these people about this guy who's carrying something that looks like a gun case. First of all, he opens it up and lo and behold, there are firearms inside. So the officers are responding as they should because there is a potential crime that has been committed. So the fact that here I have a CCW, I can carry a firearm. You understand that convicted felons, people who may have been convicted of domestic violence and have judgments against them, have court orders against them, can't carry firearms, so forth and so on. People who maybe have obviously mental problems, can't carry firearms, and on and on and on. Or you can't possess what's an illegal weapon. Now, an illegal weapon, that's fine. That can be debatable. Why is this illegal? Why is that not? But as long as there's a law in place, you might be in violation if you're carrying one of those firearms that's been deemed by a court, whatever it is, to be illegal. The officers have an absolute duty to go investigate something that is potentially life-threatening to an individual or individuals. They did exactly what they should have done. They didn't violate this guy's right to the Second Amendment, period. What about this? Get a call. This guy has firearms. And by the way, some of the people, I didn't play the whole video. There are people saying, I've never seen a gun in real life. I opened the case up and for the first time I saw guns. They don't know if a gun is real. They don't know if the gun is simple. They don't know if the gun is loaded. They don't know if the gun is functional. They have no idea. That's why the cops have to investigate. And might it be reasonable, maybe reasonable from an officer safety point of view, to assume this guy may actually have concealed small arms on his person? These officers did exactly what they're supposed to do. So let me play the second part of this, which is very shorter than the first segment. These cops didn't just get beat up on social media about, quote unquote, violating someone's Second Amendment rights. They also got beat up, especially this first officer. Well, I'll play the tape.
Stop. Look at my neck. And this is why you don't fight the police.
And you can see there, Pasadena police, I can tell you, arrived within 2 minutes. While he was on the phone with dispatchers, we saw the lights and sirens. They were coming, and one officer jumped out, tackled him to the ground after a brief struggle. Another officer came to help, and they were able to take him into custody. We were told that he was arrested. At this point, it's not clear what the charges are, and we still don't know if the guns were loaded.
I was shocked, actually, again, with some of the comments about, this officer couldn't take this guy down. He used poor tactics. He needs this kind of training and blah, 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 blah. And I'll tell you right now, when you look at the size differential from this officer to this suspect, I give him absolute kudos. I want you to look, I'm 6 feet, 205 pounds. I'm a big dude. I was even bigger when I was in the department. And you compare the size difference here. This would be like me stopping LeBron James every time I pulled somebody over. And then LeBron James decided to go off on me or resist arrest. This officer did a fantastic job. I mean, look at the officer. What is he? I don't know, 150 pounds or so. I'm just guessing. Compared to that suspect, you tell me how big he is. He's huge. And the officer goes in. He makes it a first attempt. It fails. He regroups, and he gets this guy by himself. He gets this guy down the ground and controlled by himself before a backup arrives. He did a fantastic job. I do not understand the haters out there who are telling me this officer did a bad job when it comes to his tactics, when it comes to his, physical methods of arrest or whatever an agency actually may call it. But certainly his takedown procedures and control techniques. I think he did a fantastic job. Not to mention the guy was fearless. He was fearless. He wanted this guy in custody before he could actually do any damage to the officer or to anybody around him. I give kudos to this officer, kudos to Pasadena PD. And obviously, when you listen to some of the reporting early on, the first clip I played, this guy is obviously out of his mind. And I'm sure the Pasadena Police Department probably took this guy into protective custody, probably booked him on what's called a 5150 hold. I'm guessing. I couldn't assume otherwise. I think there are reports out there that the guns weren't loaded. They were not illegal. He was in legal possession of them, and that's fine. So be it. But the only way you find out and prevent a potential tragedy is to investigate and use the appropriate enforcement decisions and tactics, and that's what these cops did. God bless you. We'll see you next time, Your Leo Nation.